The American people aren't offended. They've adapted to his style. He's an iconoclast, he's a disruptor. I think he has a very good shot at re-election. We have to give some credit to the American people that they're somewhat intelligent and that they know the difference between an opinion show and a news show.
At 62, Sean Hannity's efforts to look young on TV are making fans both sad and surprised. The strong-talking host, once loved for being down-to-earth, now has people talking about his thick makeup and orange-tinted face. Many are now wondering, has the man who spoke out against Hollywood's vanity turned into what he once criticized? Join us to find out why Sean Hannity's new look has left fans so confused. The loud rise of Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity is one of those names you've probably heard tossed around on TV or the radio, especially if you're into politics or Fox News. Let's dig into who this guy is. Not in some boring, polished way, but in a real no-fluff breakdown. But here's the twist. What if I told you there's a side to Hannity that rarely makes the headlines? A side that could reshape how you see him forever? Stick around, it's about to get interesting. Born in 1961, Hannity grew up in New York City. But we're not talking about some struggling, gritty upbringing where he had to fight his way to the top. Nope, Hannity had a pretty cushy start. He attended a prep school in Uniondale, New York, where life was far from tough. After high school, he bounced around between colleges like NYU, UC Santa Barbara, and Adelphi University. Did he graduate? Nah. Spoiler alert, he never managed to grab that diploma. Fast forward to 1989. At this point, Hannity was 27 years old and painting houses for a living. Not exactly where you'd expect a future media mogul to be, right? But hey, everyone's got to pay the bills somehow. That same year, he got his first shot at radio, landing a gig at UC Santa Barbara's KCSB station. This was Hannity's first taste of broadcasting, but things didn't exactly go smoothly. In fact, it was a disaster. Within just a few months, he managed to get himself fired for making offensive and downright awful comments about LGBTQ people. How bad were these comments? Bad enough that students literally blocked him from getting back into the studio, with a cabinet no less. Yep, that's a real story. Talk about starting off on the wrong foot. After getting the boot from KCSB, Hannity didn't give up. He moved on to other radio gigs, first in Alabama and later in Atlanta. By 1992, he was hosting shows on WGST. This is where Hannity really started to find his groove. His style, loud, polarizing, and unapologetic. Love him or hate him, people were paying attention, and that's all that mattered. Then came his big break in 1996. Fox News was just getting started, and they needed fresh faces to fill their lineup. Enter Sean Hannity. Fox paired him with Alan Colmes, a liberal commentator, to create a debate-style show called Hannity and Colmes. The idea was simple. Two guys with opposite views arguing it out on TV. And boy, did they argue. Hannity had a knack for dominating the conversation, and his conservative fan base ate it up. Meanwhile, Colmes often played the quieter, less aggressive counterpart, which led many to feel the show was more Hannity versus Colmes than anything else. While Hannity and Colmes was doing its thing, Hannity was busy branching out. He launched a radio show which became a testing ground for his TV material and even started a dating site called Hannity. Yep, a dating site. The idea was to help conservatives find love, but it didn't exactly take off. Shocker. Back in 2009, Colmes stepped away from the show, and Fox decided to rebrand it as just Hannity. That's right, it was now all Sean all the time. With no co-host around to share the mic or challenge his ideas, Hannity had the floor to himself. And boy, did he run with it. He went all out, becoming one of the loudest cheerleaders for George W. Bush's policies. Whether it was war, taxes, or anything else, Hannity was there waving the pom-poms. But when Obama came into office, Hannity switched gears. He made Obama his new favorite target, and one of the things he couldn't stop talking about, Obama's birth certificate. Yep, Hannity was one of the big names hyping up the whole birther conspiracy theory, questioning if Obama was even born in the US. Now let's be real, this wasn't some reasonable political debate. It was a wild and baseless conspiracy, but Hannity seemed to love it. Night after night he kept bringing it up, fanning the flames and getting his audience riled up. By the time 2016 rolled around, Hannity was already riding the Trump train, full steam ahead. While some conservative commentators were still on the fence about Trump, Hannity didn't hesitate. He was all in, no questions asked. Remember the infamous Access Hollywood tape? You know, the one where Trump made those gross comments about grabbing women? While a lot of people were distancing themselves from Trump after that, Hannity did the opposite. He stuck by him, defending Trump on his show and rallying the base like nothing had happened. And it wasn't just on-air support either. Behind the scenes, Hannity and Trump were reportedly tight. Word is they'd chat on the phone after shows like they were old buddies catching up. So yeah, by the time the election came around, Hannity wasn't just a commentator. He was basically a one-man cheerleading squad for Trump, making sure his viewers stayed fired up and loyal. It was Sean Hannity all day, every day, doing what he does best, stirring the pot and keeping the drama alive. The man behind the mic. And then there are the conspiracies. Hannity has a knack for pushing wild, baseless theories, often with little to no evidence. One of his favorites is the idea of a deep state, a shadowy group of government insiders supposedly working to undermine Trump. It's the kind of stuff that sounds like it belongs in a spy novel, but Hannity treated it like fact. He also pushed the Seth Rich conspiracy, claiming the former DNC staffer was murdered for leaking emails to WikiLeaks. Even Fox News had to walk that one back, but Hannity held his ground until public pressure forced him to back off. Hannity's personal life is just as headline-worthy as his TV antics. Let's start with the jaw-dropping real estate portfolio. Did you know he reportedly owns over 800 homes? Yep, that's not a typo. 800 properties scattered all over the place. These homes are worth nearly $90 million. And here's the kicker. Many of them were bought through shell companies. If that sounds shady, wait for the cherry on top. Some of the financing came from, wait for it, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD. Now think about this for a second. Hannity's whole thing is railing against government overreach, right? Yet here he is, dipping into government-backed funds to help grow his empire. That's what we call irony, folks. All right, so let's get into this whole real estate thing and how it gets even messier with Sean Hannity's link to Michael Cohen. Yeah, that Michael Cohen, Trump's former personal lawyer and the guy who ended up in the middle of a federal investigation. When Cohen's legal drama exploded all over the news, it came out that Hannity was one of his clients. Yep, you heard that right. Cue the endless drama and eyebrow-raising questions. Of course, Hannity jumped in fast to say it was no big deal, just some casual real estate advice. But really, who's buying that? I mean, come on, Hannity is no random guy. He's deep in the world of politics, constantly running his mouth on TV about all things Trump and everything else. So the idea that his connection to Cohen is just about a little property advice? Yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow. And let's not forget who Cohen is here. This is the same dude who was Trump's go-to fixer, cleaning up messes left and right, and not exactly in a subtle way. Being linked to a guy like that doesn't scream strictly business or nothing to see here. It's kind of a big deal when your name pops up in a federal investigation. You'd think someone like Hannity, who loves to yell about accountability and transparency on his show, would know better, but apparently not. So yeah, it's one thing to be a loudmouth on TV, throwing around opinions and stirring the pot. It's a whole other thing to have your name tangled up with one of the most controversial people in Trump's inner circle. Not exactly a good look, Sean. Not good at all. Despite all the eyebrow-raising stuff in his personal life, Hannity remains a giant in conservative media. This guy's raking in a reported $36 million a year. That's a boatload of cash, and it makes him one of the highest-paid commentators in the business. His audience, over 3 million loyal viewers who tune in nightly to hear him talk about, well, everything from politics to his endless list of grievances. Whether you're a fan or not, you've got to admit he's got staying power. He's like a lightning rod for attention, always stirring the pot with fiery monologues, over-the-top conspiracy theories, or high-profile friendships that make headlines. From authentic to artificial. He has found himself in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons lately. It's not his politics, ratings, or even his controversial interviews making waves this time. It's how he's trying to defy time and hang on to his youthful TV glow. At 62, Hannity's battle with aging has become a hot topic, and fans are divided between heartbreak and secondhand embarrassment. To some, he's still the fearless, tough-talking host who'll go to bat for his beliefs, but others can't help but notice the increasing disconnect between his words and his look. The sharp-suited media veteran seems to be waging a one-man war against wrinkles, puffiness, and sagging skin. And let's just say the results are mixed. Inside sources at Fox News have whispered that Sean's makeup routine has gone from standard touch-ups to what one insider describes as a masking operation. They claim he's layering foundation like it's war paint, taking extra care to blend it right up to his hairline. The goal? A smooth, camera-ready face that doesn't scream 60+. Instead, it's got people chuckling. Some viewers have even compared his glowing orange-tinted complexion to the infamous tan of his buddy, former President Donald Trump. Critics on social media haven't been kind either. Hannity's attempt to keep up appearances has prompted comments ranging from, "Does he think this makes Trump like him more?" to "Looks like Hannity's auditioning for a role as a pumpkin." The jabs have been relentless, and they're not coming only from strangers. Even some of his Fox colleagues reportedly find his obsession with his looks exhausting. No one blames him for wanting to look younger, one source said, but it's like he's forgotten what subtlety is. To make matters worse, Hannity's quirks go beyond the makeup chair. Remember the time he got caught vaping on live TV? That's right. About 3 years ago, as his show came back from a commercial break, there he was, glasses perched on his nose, an electronic cigarette dangling from his lips. A panicked staffer had to call his name to snap him back into reality. The clip quickly went viral, with fans and critics alike poking fun at the primetime king's momentary lapse. Hannity's personal life has also been a subject of chatter. A few years back, he relocated his show from bustling New York City to the sun-soaked shores of Palm Beach, Florida. His new digs, a stunning townhouse worth over $5 million, are a far cry from his modest beginnings. While the move was spun as a chance for a lifestyle change, some say it was as much about escaping the side-eye from his colleagues as it was about the sunny beaches. Apparently, the Fox newsroom wasn't exactly sad to see him go. Despite the controversies, Hannity remains a ratings juggernaut for Fox. His nightly monologues continue to draw millions of viewers, and his influence in conservative circles is undeniable. But his growing preoccupation with his appearance has fans wondering if he's losing sight of what made him relatable in the first place. Sean was once the everyman's host, a guy who prided himself on speaking truth to power without worrying about how he looked doing it. These days, it's hard to ignore the irony of a commentator railing against Hollywood vanity while seemingly chasing youth with every makeup brush stroke. Observers have also pointed out that Hannity's efforts to maintain his youthful image might come at a deeper cost. The media industry is a tough space, especially for aging personalities trying to stay relevant in the era of Instagram filters and endless scrutiny. But for Hannity, who built his career on authenticity and his ability to resonate with everyday Americans, the overt focus on his appearance could risk undermining the trust he's cultivated over decades. Fans who once saw him as a relatable figure are now questioning whether he's more concerned with his on-screen persona than the issues he claims to champion. Beyond the makeup and viral vaping mishaps, there's also the broader conversation about the pressures of aging in the public eye. Hannity's plight isn't unique. Countless public figures have struggled to balance the natural process of growing older with the demands of an industry that prizes youth and perfection. Yet for someone who's made a career out of criticizing Hollywood for its superficial values, his apparent insecurities strike a particularly ironic chord. Fans and critics alike can't help but notice the disconnect between Hannity's tough guy rhetoric and his seeming reluctance to embrace the reality of his age. In Palm Beach, where the sun shines bright and the wealthy flock to flaunt their fortunes, Hannity's new life might offer a fresh start. The opulent surroundings could provide some relief from the pressure cooker of New York's media scene, but they're unlikely to shield him from the scrutiny of a public that's always watching. As he continues to navigate this new chapter, the question remains, will Hannity lean into the authenticity that made him a household name, or will he let his pursuit of perfection overshadow the qualities that endeared him to millions? What's clear is that Sean Hannity's journey through the challenges of aging isn't just about vanity or ratings. It's a reflection of the broader cultural conversation about image, self-worth, and the double standards that come with living in the spotlight. While his fans hope for a return to form, his critics see his struggles as a cautionary tale. Either way, Hannity's every move remains fodder for debate, and his evolution will be closely watched in the years to come. For now, the battle rages on. Whether you view him as a steadfast champion of conservative values, a media personality past his prime, or just another celebrity trying to hold on to relevance, one thing's for sure: Sean Hannity's story is far from over. And as he continues to navigate the highs and lows of life under the microscope, we'll all be here watching, critiquing, and wondering what's next for the man who's never been afraid to stir the pot, even if it means stirring his own insecurities into the mix. What's wild is how he's managed to keep his spot at the top for decades. Think about it. Most media personalities burn out or fade away after a while. Not Hannity. Love him or hate him, the guy knows how to stay relevant. And let's be real, in the world of media, that's half the battle. Whether it's controversy, drama, or just sheer persistence, Hannity has a knack for keeping people talking. You might cringe, you might laugh, or you might even agree with him, but one thing's for sure: Sean Hannity isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Has Hannity's pursuit of youth and relevance turned him into the very caricature he spent years railing against? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.